What's up? I know y'all see the title, right? Countdown to World War III. Donald Trump is going to take us there, question mark, right? The dissension of America, well, the West in America, essentially. So, yeah, so we're going to get into it, we're aware of what's been going on in the news, with Russia and America and everybody else, right? So, we're going to get into a little biblical prophecies and stuff to break it all down, right? And, so of course, all praises to the Most High. We do so in the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, right? For the world mistakenly called Jesus Christ, right? So, so we're going to just start off, right? Let's start off with Daniel, right? Daniel chapter 4, right? Daniel chapter 4, verse 17, right? Yeah, right into it. So we gotta understand, like, God is in control of everything, right? And when we mean everything, we mean everything, like in the definition of itself, right? And we gotta keep that in mind when we see things going on and understand that, this is his movie, right? This is his, feature film, and we all just participants, actors in this whole grand scheme of things, right? So, and everything is playing out exactly how he wants it to play out, right? For his purpose, and that is to save his people at the end, right? Great action story, great drama story, great thriller, great comedy, everything, right? The Most High is the greatest movie director, screenwriter ever, right? Check it out. So, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones to attend to the living may know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men and give it to whomsoever he will and set it up over the basis of man, right? So it's saying that God rules in the kingdom of man. God is in control of all this stuff, right? He raised up governments, he destroyed governments, he made countries, he destroyed countries, right? That's what he does, right? And it says, and set up over it the basis of man. So he chooses who he wants to be, top head honcho of the planet right now. And unfortunately, right now, the people that run the planet are the basis of man, right? And we can prove that through scripture. And so then let's jump over to 35 real quick. And it says, and all this inhabitants of the earth are refuted. All the inhabitants of the earth are refuted as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, right? So God does whatever he wants. There's nothing that we can do that can stop him from doing exactly what he said he was going to do, right? And there's nothing, we can stop it. There's nothing that we can, nobody can resist the will of God, right? And it says, in mind, and live, we start from the top, and it says, and all the inhabitants of the earth are refuted as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the armies of heaven. And among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can say in his hand, meaning like once, you in the Lord's hand, meaning, he's in control, full autonomy, right, of everything. It says, and among the inhabitants, according to his will, it says, and none can say in his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? Meaning, we can't question God and ask God, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this, what is that? Because he controls everything. We're just the actors in this greatest movie ever, right? And so people will ask the question, like, okay, if God is so omnipotent, meaning he knows everything, right? Omnipotent, omniscient, right? He's everywhere, right? Then why do certain things happen, right? Or why do this happen? Why, because, again, using the analogy of movies, right, and directors. So, look at it like this. The Most High is so in touch with his creation, right? Very in touch. That's why you can read, like, instances where you might see God angry, or you might see him happy, or whatever the case may be. You can see him expressing different emotions throughout the scriptures. So then one will ask the question, okay, if he knows this was going to happen, that was going to happen, then why the emotions? Because he is so involved in his creation that even though he might know what's going to happen, it still pains him to see it happen, or it might excite him to see certain things happen, right? So, use an example, right? Spike Lee, very involved in his creation. How so? Because Spike Lee is so involved in his creation, you might see Spike Lee walk across the movie screen. He's in the movie. He got a part in his own movie. What's the other guy? Quentin Tarantino, very involved in his creation, right? Oftentimes you have himself a part in this movie, right? I was using this example of talking to a brother. I don't know how many is familiar with the cartoon of Dragon Ball Z. The creator of Dragon Ball Z, right? He says his favorite character, who he loves the most, is Piccolo, right? And Vegeta, he hates Vegeta. He hates everything about Vegeta. He hates everything. Like how Kendrick was talking about Drake. I hate the way he talked, the way he walked, the way he dressed, right? He hates everything about Vegeta, right? So think about this. He created Dragon Ball Z. He created all those characters that we see. The personalities, what they say, all that stuff, right? He created them. But he hates Vegeta, and he loves Piccolo, right? And he was telling a story in an interview where the first time he killed Piccolo, he cried because it hurt him so bad to kill Piccolo, right? So think about it, right? That's how involved the Most High is in his creation, right? He loved the children of Israel, and he hates a certain group of people, and he hates the way people treat the children of Israel, right? So, just like the creator of Dragon Ball Z is so in tune with his creation that he gets emotionally involved in it to the point where it hurts him and it upsets him when the characters die, although he ordained it and wrote it down to happen that way. That's how God is. He's very in tune with his creation. But he has to see the movie out. He has to see it out because he created it that way, right? So, I say all that to say, everything we see, God is in control of it, right? So just get, let's go to Micah 10 real quick. Micah 4 and 10, I'm sorry. Micah 4 and 10. It says, so, and what we're doing right now, just proving the times, right? Because I can just say anything. So we're just proving the times with the scriptures, right? So it says, be in pain and labor and bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now thou shalt go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and shalt go even unto Babylon. There shall thou be delivered, and there the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies, right? So, if, we have, understanding America is that modern day Babylon, right? So, and biblical prophecy says that the children of Israel were going to be in Babylon in the last days, right? So, wherever, Babylon is, that's where the children of Israel is, right? And so we know America is nicknamed Babylon, And so, and it says, I'll read it again. Be in pain and labor and bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now thou shalt go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt even go into Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered, and the Lord shall redeem thee from the hands of thy enemy. Right? So what does that mean, right? So this is a prophecy dealing with 70 AD when when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and we got exiled and expelled out of Jerusalem and we ran into Africa, right? And other places, but majority of us ran into Africa. So we're gonna prove it though, right? So let's go jump up to Revelation, right? That, a lot of people, that prophecy, right? You can also see it in Revelation. I think it's Revelation 12. Right. So now look. So now in Revelation 12, John is given the same prophecy, right? But according to certain systems that they translate this or not translate this, they interpret this falsely and giving people a false understanding. But we're going to get the correct understanding. So it says, so same prophecy says, and in appearance, this is Revelation 12 and 1, and in appearance, a great woman, a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, under her feet upon her head were 12 stars, right? So this woman is Israel, right? The nation of Israel. The 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Then it says, and she being with child cried in travail and birth and pain and to be delivered, and appeared another wonder in heaven, and hold a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head, right? So this is the Roman Empire, right? The red dragon is the Roman Empire. The 7 crowns are the 7 regions, 7 provinces that Rome had, which were Germania Major, Germania Minor, Rome, Spain, France, Britannia. I'm not counting, so if I'm missing 1 or 2, I don't know. But this is off the top of my head. But those are the 7 crowns. Then you have the 7. Where it says boom, 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 boom. Then you have the 7 horns, right? And that's getting into like the sub-nations that have power with Rome, right? And it says, having 7 heads, boom, 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 all right, go back. Appeared with another wonder in heaven, behold, the great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So it's talking about the Roman Empire, right? And so let's go back over here and get Jeremiah, wait, I want that one first. Okay, Jeremiah 18, 17 and 18. So Jeremiah 17 and 18 says, let them be confounded that persecute me, but let not me be confounded. Let them be dismayed, but let not me be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil and destroy them with double destruction. Hold on, that's not right. Hold on one second. I mean, that's one of them, but is it Isaiah 47? Hold on, bear with me, bear with me. I was trying to find Let me go to Matthew. Let me go to Luke. I was trying to find one in Jeremiah that was connected to this one that, specified like us going into the northern and west coast of Africa. Because when it's, I'm gonna get it in Luke though, because Christ says the same thing. So let's go to Luke 21 and 21 real quick. So it says, so this is Luke 21 and 21. 21 and 21 says, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. Right? So this is a prophecy when Jesus was talking to the disciples and everybody, and letting them know, like, when the Romans, circle the city, if you're out of town at that time, don't come back. If you in town, get out of town, right? Then it says, flee into the mountains, right? It says, then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. So the mountains are in Africa, right? So, so we will run to the west, because that's where the mountains is, and it says, and let them which are in the midst depart out, and let not them that are in the country enter therein too, for these are the days of vengeance, that all shall which are written may be fulfilled. Right? And because and also too, when you read the book of Timbuktu, right? Babylon Timbuktu, it also tells you that during the expulsion of Jerusalem, like over 1 million Jews fled into west coast of Africa, right? And so we're seeing it here in Luke that Christ was giving a prophecy like, flee into the mountains, right? And so let's get back to go back to Micah, right? Go back to Thor, right? So go to Micah 4 and 1, right? I wish I could have found that Jeremiah verse, but would have kind of wrapped it up perfectly. But Christ said the same thing technically. So it says, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord shall be established, and the top of the mountains shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow unto it. So in the last days, right? So it's a prophecy talking about the last days. So can't get around it. So it says Israel is going to be on the top, and all the people are going to flow onto it, right? Pursuant to Isaiah 66 and 65, I believe, and other places. Then it says, and the Lord will establish on top of the mountain, and shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow into it. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and into the house of God, of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, right? Because the people don't know the ways of God, right? We got a billion, gazillion religions out here, right? A million different churches, right? But the people don't know the ways of God, right? They have to be taught the ways of God. So people are involved in these things that they're involved in, and are thinking that they're doing things of God. But the Bible says that those are ways that seem right unto a man, but those ways lead into death, right? So you can feel like you're doing right, you can feel like your life is together, you got it together, but if you're not doing thus said the Lord, right? So you can be the perfect, I don't know why I can't talk, the perfect Buddhist, right? Right? You be a perfect Buddhist. But if you're not doing it thus said the Lord, then it's all for nothing. You can be the perfect Christian. But if you're not doing it thus said the Lord, it can be all for nothing, right? So it says, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path, for the law shall go forth out of Zion. So, what did it just say? The law should go forth out of Zion, right? That's important. I know we're talking about something else, but just thought I would just mention this real quick. But we have a place that people go to every weekend, and they tell us that the laws of God is done away with, but the very first line of chapter 4 says, but in the last days it shall come to pass. So it's a future prophecy that's going to be a last day prophecy. So that means we have to keep the laws of God, because in the kingdom, when the kingdom is established on earth, the people are going to come to the land of Israel and learn from the Israelites the laws of God. It said it right here. So if your pastor is telling you the laws are done away with, tell them, well, that's not what God says, because in the future, God is going to require us to teach the laws to the other nations, right? So it says, for the law shall go forth out of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Then, let's get there real quick, because we got time. Let's get Isaiah 66 real quick. Isaiah 66 and 12. So, and it says, for thus said the Lord, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Right? So the glory of the Gentiles is talking about their riches, their wealth. It's going to be like a flowing stream unto the Israelites, because they're going to pay us to teach them the Bible. They're going to pay tribute to the Israelites. They're going to, for the lack of better terms, to simplify it, pay taxes, tribute to the Israelites, right? And it says, for thus said the Lord, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and to her is the Israelites. We're going to finally have peace. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American people are finally going to be able to be at peace. When this Western Empire and the other Eastern Empire is taken down as well, when they're all taken down, Black, Hispanic, and Native American people and our other fellow Israelite brothers around the world is finally going to be able to have peace. Imagine waking up the next day, you wake up tomorrow with no stress, no anything I gotta do, no nothing, right? We're not gonna know what to do with ourselves. We're not gonna, with no oppression, no, I gotta do this for the kids, I gotta make sure I get to work on time, I gotta do this or do that, I gotta make sure this is paid. None of that. None of the stress that people currently have will be in that day, right? So, where am I? Boom, 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 boom. It says, for thus saith the Lord, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye shall be borne upon her side, and dantled upon her knees. As one who mother comfort, so will I comfort you, and shall the comfort in Jerusalem. So it says, the glory of the Gentiles, like flowing stream, meaning they're going to be just giving us everything they got. All that stuff they ever stole from us, plus more, right? Then it says, boom, 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 boom. And it says, and then shall ye suck, ye shall be born upon her side. So he's likening us to like a baby nursing on her mother's breast, right? And so he's saying like we're going to be like, you know, so the other nations is going to nurture us, like to the point where it's like they're going to baby us, right? And to the point to like to, all right, look, the people that call themselves you know, Israelis, and they got the little stuff hanging from the side of their head, and little what's that stuff called? Coaster, right? That you put your cup on. Got a little coaster sitting on the top of their head, right? Like the world, for most of the world gives them money because they think that they are the people of the book, right? A lot of countries around the world give them millions and billions of dollars because they think that they are the people, right? So, and when you think about it, that's technically our money because they're giving it to them because they think that they are the people of the book because they done did the identity theft to the highest level and they duped the whole world into thinking that they are who this book is talking about when they don't even believe what's in this book, right? You know, they are a secular nation, right? Majority of them are atheists, right? And one of the laws of God is faith. You gotta believe, right? And if you don't follow the laws of God, you will suffer the punishments of not following the laws of God. And when you look at the punishments of the laws of God, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American people are the only people that fits under that when we read this and look at, you know, everything in totality, right? But anyway, so then it says, okay, what else? Alright, we'll go back to Michael. So then, oh yeah, one more thing too. Isaiah 2:2. Isaiah 2:2 real quick, right? So this is Isaiah 2:2. It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days, another future prophecy, in the last days. We are in the last days, right? And we've been in the last days since the time of John the Baptist. Christ told us that, right? So how much further are we now? That's, you know, so anyway. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountain. So, you know, of course, Hebraically, whenever the Bible says mountain, oftentimes it's talking about nation. So it's saying that the nation of Israel is going to sit above all the other nations, right? So it says, and shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and many people should go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. Out of Zion go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right? Again, we see that again. So the Gentiles are going to, in that day, after World War III, Armageddon, all that stuff, the ones that survive, they're going to, want to have, all right, okay, we need to get it together, right? So just go over there and just learn from the Israelites. Just go to the house of the Lord, right? And let's learn the laws. Because what just happened, this World War III stuff, this Armageddon stuff, what just took place, we can't let that happen again. So they're going to want to know, right? So then it says, and he shall judge the nations and rebuke many people, and they shall be, so they're going to have to get judged, right? Because the Bible says, he that touched the apple of his eye, God, he's going to get with him, right? So then, says, and he shall judge the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, right? Meaning, they're not going to be manufacturing weapons anymore. That's what that means. When it says they should beat their plows into, their spears into pruning hooks, and their swords and, beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Meaning, they're not going to be manufacturing weapons. You're not going to have these scientists working in the lab trying to figure out how to blow up the world, because it ain't going to be no need for that. It's going to be peace on earth, right? The ultimate deterrent, how they got the nuclear triad thing, whatever, nuclear triad agreement. So the ultimate deterrent is a black man by the name of Yahweh Shah and Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. He's going to be on the earth. And bet nobody act crazy. So that's going to bring peace on the earth, right? So, then it says, and they shall beat their spears into pruning hooks, and the nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Right? So that's how it's going to be, right? Right? Then it says, and he shall judge among the, back to Micah 4 and 3. And he shall judge among the people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. We just read that. Nations shall not lift up swords against nations, neither shall they learn war anymore. Just read that. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree. Right? And none shall make them afraid. So what does that mean? They should sit every man under their under his vine and under his fig tree. Meaning everybody in that day, everybody's going to mess with their own people. It ain't going to be this melting pot no more of stuff going on. They're going to be with who their people is. We're going to be who our people is. They're going to be where their people is. Right? And then, because people get it mixed up, right? People get it mixed up. And this might sound, unpopular to those that don't, understand, the full everything of it, right? Because we read the Bible, right? Because everybody think that God wants this big old rainbow coalition going on here, right? Everybody holding hands and singing "We Are the World," right? All 8 billion people, hand in hand, all, how they got the little graphic where you got everybody holding hands around the globe and they covering the whole globe. That's what everybody thinks that's what God is on, right? People forget the story of Noah, right? They forgot that God flooded the world for people mixing, right? People forget that. People forgot that because of the Rainbow Coalition, because of the melting pot, God killed everybody on the planet except for 8 people, right? People forget that. People forget after that when the, they repopulated planet, start repopulating again, right? And they had the Tower of Babel, and they was trying to recreate what they had before. And God came down there and said, no, let's put some diversity in this. Let's put some culture in this. Let's give you your own culture and language. Let's give you your own culture and language. Let's give you your own culture and language. Just do something like that, because we got to split this up, right? People forget that, right? They forget that. So, it says, but they shall set every man under his own vine and under his own fig, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of the host has spoken, right? And why is that important like that? Because oftentimes in war, you have countries invading other countries. So it's not going to be no more, Russia going into Ukraine, or Israel, going into Gaza. Everybody's going to be wherever God told them to be at, and say, look, this is where I put you at, this is where y'all going to stay at, that's where y'all going to chill. Everybody going to do that. So there's not going to be no invading people's lands, right? Everybody's just going to be in peace, utopia, right? And it says, for all the people will walk, every one in the name of his God, right? For all the people will walk, everyone in the name of his God, and we is a comma there, and we will walk in the name of Yahweh, our God, right? So basically saying that people are going to be doing what they do. They follow their different gods and stuff like that. Let them do what they do, right? But we're going to follow Yahweh, right? The Most High God, right? But of course, since they're going to be following their own gods, we're going to have to teach them the one true God. That's, what Isaiah and this passage and all those other passages about. But anywho, so then it says, in the name of our God forever and ever, in that day the Lord will assemble her that halted, and have gathered her that is driven out, and her that is afflicted, which was us. We were driven out of Jerusalem. We were kicked out 70 AD by the Romans, right? We've been afflicted over here in America and elsewhere that we've been scattered throughout the slave trade, right? So it says, and we will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast off far and strong, a strong nation. So God is going to take the Israelites, the remnant of the Israelites that, because the Bible says, he that overcometh to the end, shall get power over the nations. That's Revelation 2:26. So a remnant of the Israelites, hopefully we're part of that number, right? It says, he's going to take and make them a great nation. So we're going to become that great, powerful nation that's going to end up ruling under the government of Christ and fulfilling the whole promise that God gave to his servant Abraham, right? So then it says, and I will make her that halted, that halted a remnant, and her that cast out far off strong nation, and the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. And thou, O tower of flock of the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come even the first dominion, right? So what is that talking about? That's talking about the ones that is, try not to laugh. I was thinking about something funny how to say it, but basically it ain't, it's nothing funny, but I like to be silly. But So basically, the ones that overcome, right? The first ones that partake in the first resurrection, right? The goody two shoes, right? They're gonna reign with Christ for that first 1,000 years, right? That you read about in Revelation, right? They're gonna reign with Christ for that 1,000 years. They're gonna be in joint rulership with them. Then so that's what that first dominion is, right? Then the rest of the Israelites, right, that probably died on this side of the world, right? That didn't, make it to the first resurrection, right? So the regeneration, we already went over regeneration, right? They're going to be, reborn in the kingdom, right? They're going to be in the kingdom, but they're not going to be able to see that glory and stuff of being able to be with that first dominion of the Israelites that was ruling with Christ, right? But they're going to still be an Israelite and have the benefits, but they're just not going to be taking part in that first resurrection and have that power with Christ ruling everything, right? So, but it's important, so it says, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem, right? So, again, the kingdom of heaven is for the daughters of Jerusalem. And the kingdom of heaven is just dominionship on earth, because God promised Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus, to rule this earth, right? With the Israelites as, the priests, right? So, and it says, now why doest thou cry out loud as if there's no king there? Is thy counselor punished? For things have taken thee as worms in travail. Be in pain and labor and bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even unto Babylon, and there thou shalt be delivered, and there the Lord shall redeem thee from the hands which thy enemy, from the hand of thy enemy, right? So in this last prophecy, the Israelites are going to be in Babylon, right? Let's get Lamentations 4 and 12 real quick. So the Israelites are going to be in the last days. Northern kingdom and southern kingdom is going to be in Babylon. Because if you're familiar with the history of the Israelites, it was, other than the time in Egypt, we was not, oppressed together like that, right? So we all got taken into slavery different times. Like the northern kingdom got taken into slavery by the Assyrians, then the southern kingdom got taken into slavery by the Babylonians, right? So, but it wasn't at the same time. And by the time, Israel, the southern kingdom got taken into slavery, or basically by the time we get to the New Testament too, of course, the northern kingdom just everywhere, scattered. The majority of them came over here to this side of the world, and known as our so-called Native American and Hispanic brothers, right? And so yeah, but Lamentations 4 and 21. So Lamentation 4 and 21 says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, right? So Edom is the biblical name of the nation, for the nation of the so-called Caucasian people, right? Because I say so-called Caucasian because they're really Edomites. In the Bible, they're known as Edomites, and they come from the nation of Edom. Although they scattered and call themselves different countries now, just like even with the 12 tribes of Israel, we're different nations now, right? So no difference. So it says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. that dwell in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. Right? So, what is this cup that was going to be passed to these Edomites, right? This is the cup of wrath, God's wrath, that, he has, and he has, every nation has to drink from it, and, sometimes you have to, drink everything that's in a cup. Maybe a nation might get a sip of it, but these people got to drink everything in the cup plus more, right? Then it says, and thou shalt be drunken and made naked, right? How are they going to be drunken and made naked? Because, and what does that mean? Meaning, drunken with their philosophies, drunken with their way of life, right? Because America, if you ask the average American, they think it's the greatest country ever, right? They got that song, proud to be American, this time no, I'm free, right? Go to other countries. A lot of people think it's the greatest country ever, right? Everybody want to come to America, right? And so it says, so drunken off of their way of life, their philosophies, right? Their ideology, right? And it says, and shall be made up, and shall make thyself naked, meaning they're going to be exposed, right? Not naked in a physical sense, but naked meaning exposed. You're out in the open. People are going to see you for who you are, right? And that's what people are starting to do. That's what a lot of countries are starting to do. That's why a lot of countries, especially African countries and South American countries, they're dropping American dollar, and they noticing how, okay, we allow America into our country, but we have no autonomy and no sovereignty once they get here, right? So they're looking at things that they're doing throughout history, right? And so that's how they're being naked, right? Then let's get Revelation 17 and 16 real quick. Revelation 17 and 16. Says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, and these shall hate the whore. Right? Remember he's talking about the 10 horns, right? So these 10 horns are these different, this is talking about NATO here in Revelation, right? It's talking about NATO. And look, if you looking at the news, because usually when I do the countdown to World War III, like to have a little news article and stuff, and we go over the news article and all that cool stuff. But, shoot, we can look at the news and see what's going on, right? So NATO, right? You have, Canada and America, they're NATO members, and, they have tariff wars going on. You have countries that's not okay with America, Trump looking like he's, giving Putin a pass. It's a lot of dissension going on, right? And you have Turkey that's going to join the BRICS, and they were a part of NATO, right? So it's a lot of craziness going on, right? So it says, the 10 horns which thou see upon the beast shall hate the whore, and thou shalt make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. It's talking about that nuclear arsenal that Russia got over there, that Korea got over there, that Iran is cooking up over there, right? And that Turkey and France and all those other countries that's potentially that's going to end up turning on America because they're not liking the way Donald Trump is going about things, right? And it says, and they shall burn her, with fire, right? So then it says, and these shall hate the whore, right? So America in the Bible is personified as the whore, the woman that rides the beach, the whore that rides the beach, right? So look at it, right? When you can Google this, look this up. The female personification of America is Colombia, right? That's the female feminine name for America. although you have the personification often showed as Uncle Sam, but Columbia, right? That Statue of Liberty, right? It was, also, supposed to represent Columbia, you know, the femininity of America, right? So when the Bible likened America to the whore, we know why, because America is known as Columbia. It's an ancient name, you know. Says a hate whore, blah blah blah. Alright, let's go back to Lamentations. So it says, and rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, and dwell in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and make thyself naked. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Talking to the Israelites. So now, oftentimes, I forgot the literal, the term, how to say it when you're dealing with, writings and stuff. But basically, sometimes something will be written like it's already happened, but it's going to happen, right? So it says, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, and he will no more carry thee into captivity, and will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. So why did I read this? Because we're still trying to prove the time where we're at, so we can, show you what's going on, right? Why did I read this? So it says, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, right? O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee into captivity. So the Israelites, this is being in Babylon, right? Because we read in Micah that we will be carried off into Babylon, right? I mean, in Jeremiah, we'll be carried off into Babylon, right? So, telling you that the Israelites, this is your last slavery. So the slavery that we had here in America, that's the last of the last punishment, then after, it's over with, right? So it says, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee into captivity, and he will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom, right? So why is this important? Again, because the Edomites are the so-called Caucasians. And guess who had us in slavery? The so-called Caucasians. And guess what the Bible is saying? The last time the Israelites was going to be in slavery before Christ come back and redeem us is going to be under the Edomites. Then it says, O daughter, says, and he will no more carry thee into captivity. He will visit the iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and he will discover thy sins. Right? Then he's gonna punish this way for what they did. Right? So let's go to Daniel real quick. Go to Daniel 2. I'm gonna start. Okay, I can start at 31. Cause like I said, we got time. So yeah, Daniel 2 and 31, right? So this is Daniel, and it's talking to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar had the dream, so about the statue, and so the statue is a representation of different empires that's going to come into power, right? So then as you work your way down the statue till you get to the feet is the final empire, right? And so, and we just read that the Israelites in Lamentations, their final captivity before they get redeemed is going to be under the Edomites, right? And so let's check this out. So let's see what part of the statue that we follow on, right? So it says, Okay, yeah, 31. It says, thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This is great image whose brightness was excellent and stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, and his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his head, thighs of brass, right? So, describing the statue, right? Then, let's get jump up to 7 real quick. Daniel 7 and 6. And it says, and I behold another like a leopard. Jumping the gun, go back. So, then it says, so the image of gold, that's the Babylonian Empire. That's who Daniel is dealing with at the moment, talking to Nebuchadnezzar. That's the greatest empire, right? Then it says, and his breast and his arms of silver. That's the Persian Empire, because they came after the Babylonians, right? Then it says, in his belly and his thighs of brass. That's the Greek Empire, because they came after the Greeks, right? So now we jump to 7 and 6. So it says, and after I behold it, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon his back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and a breast, and also 4 wings, 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it, right? So what does this mean? It's a prophecy about Alexander the Great, because history tells us that Alexander often fought with a leopard coat on, leopard skin coat on, right? And then he had 4 generals. And after Alexander died, those 4 generals took dominion over respective regions of the world, right? And they ruled all the way to the Roman Empire, right? So let's get back. So let's go to 8 and 8 real quick. So then it says, therefore the goat waxed great, and even he was strong, and great horn was broken. So the goat is Alexander, right? And it says the goat and the horn was broken, and for it came 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven. So Alexander the Great died. Anybody can Google this. Alexander the Great died. When he died, his 4 generals, they took over different parts of the world, and they went to war somewhat with each other for dominance, and that's just how it was. So it says, therefore the goat waxed very great, and he became strong, and the horns were broken. So Alexander died, because he was that horn, and he died. And for it came 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven. So when you look at those 4 generals' empires, you can see the different parts of the world that they ruled, right? Let's go back. Then, so then it says, in his legs of iron, and his feet of hard clay. So the legs of iron is the Roman Empire. Then it says, in his feet of iron and hard clay. The feet of iron is the American Empire. The feet of iron and hard clay is the American Empire, because the American Empire was NATO, right? So, in the EU. So, and the reason why is iron mixed with clay, because, of course, iron and clay can't mix it together, meaning they're not as strong. They're not strong. Right? They're not together. We can look at the news and see how splintered they are, right? We can look at the House and the Republican and see how divided they are. We can look at the nation itself and see how divided they are, right? So it says, and thus saws until that the stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon the feet that were iron and clay, break them into pieces. So it's a stone cut out, and it smote the image that was at the feet which is the final empire that's going to be ruling when Christ come back. So the stone is Christ, right? And this is when Yahweh shall come back and destroy these people, right? Destroy these nations, right? And it says, where am I? Then it says, Then it says, says, and thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon the feet, and that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces, right? And that's what's going to happen. You know, that nation is going to be broken into pieces. Let's go to Psalms real quick. Psalm 118 and 22 says, the stone which the builders refused is become the head of the corner, right? So that stone is Christ, right? You to further prove that. So that's when Christ comes back. He's going to destroy the final kingdom, which is at the base of the statue, which is the feet that is made out of iron and clay, and that is America, right? We're going to prove it. So, it says, and then was the iron that was clay and the brass and the silver and the gold broken into pieces together and became like a shaft in the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone smote the image and became a great mountain and filled the whole earth, right? So meaning, when Yahweh shall come back and destroy this final kingdom, and Israel is set up on top and become the greatest nation ever, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 and 1, these former empires are not going to be even in remembrance anymore. We're not even going to think about, oh, how great Babylon was, or, oh, you know, the Persians, it was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? The Greeks and how, you know, powerful America. We're not going to be thinking about how powerful America was in that day, because it says, then was the iron and the clay and the brass and the silver and the gold broken to pieces together and became like chaff of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away. Meaning, we're not going to be in our thoughts anymore, right? And you know it's like that because, I mean, we 2,000 years later, the Greeks, you know, their empire is gone. The Persians is gone. So when it's talking about carry, so it's not, when it says carry them away, meaning that they're not going to be no more remembered, right? So then it says that no place was found for them. The stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth, right? And that's Israel becoming that great nation and ruling this whole earth, right? And then it says this dream, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art thou the king for the God of heaven, and have given thee kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And whosoever the children of men dwell, and the beasts of the field, and the fowls of heaven, have given unto thy hands, and made thee ruler of them all. Thou art the head of gold. So Daniel was explaining to Nebuchadnezzar his dream, saying like, you are the head of gold, right? So when you're looking at the statue, you are the first kingdom, the greatest kingdom, you know, you're the head of gold, right? And it says, and after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior of thee, and another third kingdom of brass shall bear rule over all of the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for much as iron break in pieces and subdue all things, as iron breaketh all things, shall it break in pieces and bruise. So this is talking about the Roman Empire. Because when Rome came through, they was like a damn bull in a china shop. They didn't have no regard for nothing. It'll just get down and lay down, straight up and down. You know, so that's what it means by and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, so much as the iron break in pieces is to do all things, as iron breaketh in pieces, all that shall break in pieces. As iron that break all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. So that's what Rome was doing. Rome was, they was the bullies, right? And it says, and whereas thou saw the feet and the 10 toes, potter's clay, part iron, part iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be one in the strength of the iron, for much as thou sawest iron mixed with myrrh and clay. So it says the kingdom shall be divided. Look at America, divided, right? Look at the Western world, period. Like Western Empire, divided. Because they got the same philosophies over there in as America, even though they might do it a little different. But it's the same people, same philosophy. So it says, the kingdom shall be divided and shall be in the strength of the iron, right? It should be in the strength of the iron, meaning their military, because America's got a good military, right? So that's what their strength is, because it ain't togetherness, because they can't agree on anything, but when it comes to putting their military in action, their military had no business, right? For the most part. So it says, the 10 toes, part of the potter's clay, and part of the iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be strength in the iron, for much as thou sawest the iron mixed with myrrh and clay, right? So again, they're divided. NATO is divided, right? You can look, watch the news and see how they're going at each other on what to do, like how to handle America. They had was it last week? They had a damn near meeting without Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what, we're going to have this little meeting. Not going to invite Donald Trump. What's the little Zelensky guy? Like, why don't you come and holler at us real quick? We'll have a little meeting, right? Without Donald Trump, then, like I said, you have Turkey that was part of the EU, right? Because you got NATO and the EU. So they're on the docket to join the BRICS, which is Russia, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and Iran, and now South Africa, because they, now it's the BRICS, the BRICS squad, right? So they got, South America now, right? And all their underlings and stuff that goes along with it, right? So dissension, they all is a splinter, right? And what did Jesus say? Like, the house that's divided can't stand, right? So they're divided. And I was talking about this like several months ago during the election when this was like right after the first debate with Biden, or around that time, before Kamala came into the picture, right? And I was telling people, I was explaining like two different outcomes of, I'm like, it doesn't matter who's president, because whether it's Biden president at the time, that's when Biden was still in the race, so I was saying Biden. I'm like, whether it's Biden or Trump, America is going to get into World War III. It's whether we do it sooner or later. One is going to get us there sooner, and the other is going to get us there later. But we're going. Why we're going? Because the Bible said so, right? So it don't matter, and we can see. Because what I said was, all right, if Biden is in there, because Biden and the rest of the war hawks, they're going to keep pushing the button, keep poking the bear with Putin in them until Putin get fed up and just decide to push the button, right? North Korea is already, testing their missiles, right? So, that was one of the outcomes. I'm like, because there's a lot of war hawks on that side, right? And they want war. And I was saying that Donald Trump don't want war. Donald Trump is a business president. He's a money president. So, and everybody know you can't make money when it's, when there's violence going on, right? We watch mafia movies, right? Whenever a certain amount of level of violence going on, they try to squash the beef so they can still make money, keep the police off of them, keep the heat off of them. Like, man, we can't make money when we put bodies in the street. So Trump is not a war president. He's a, what's the term? Basically, he's a business president. He's a, trying to, he's not on that, right? So, but of course, since America's in this situation, he has to show some type of level of force. But he wasn't running on war. He was running on ending the war. So, and I was saying, because Trump went different than what the government wants, the totality of the government, there's going to be conflict because he's going to undo what Biden and them did. So then that's going to create tension because Trump is cool with Russia and whoever, right? So now the people in NATO are looking at Trump like, yo, what's going on, y'all? America got us in this stuff, and now you pulling out, acting crazy, and now Russia is doing what Russia doing. So it's going to cause what we read in Revelation and Obadiah and other places where it says that these countries that are confederate with America, meaning that they're with America, they're going to eventually end up turning on America, right? Because of these very things. And we can see the beginning stages of, how it may can play out, right? So it says the toes part of potter's clay and part iron, and the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in the strength of the iron, for much as thou sawest iron mixed with clay. And as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so as the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And that's what we're witnessing. This kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. It's partly strong because it has a military that's functional. Then it says, okay, Revelation 17 and 16. Let's go back to that. I think he read it. Go back to it though. And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Because they're splintered, they're not together, right? Because when you look at your toes and your feet, I'm using my hands as an example, your toes, hopefully your toes are not all together, all stuck up together, and, you get separation with your toes, right? You can work with your toes, right? Even though I know a few people who got some toes that stacked on top of each other, though, right? We ain't talking about that, right? But I'm just saying, when you get down to the toes of the statue, toes are splintered. And when you look at the metaphor of the body, it starts from a solid piece, which is the head, and it goes down to the shoulders and the arms, which begins the separation, because the arm does its own thing, right? Because when you get to the Persian Empire, the Persians were a little more lenient than the Babylonians. Because whatever Nebuchadnezzar said, that was law. It wasn't no negotiation or no litigation or maybe we should do this. But the Persians got a little more lenient. Then the Greeks came in with their democracy and voting and shit. Then the Romans came in and copied that and did the same thing. And America got their little democracy and legislation and voting and stuff. So it gets splintered because there's no longer together. There's no longer, everybody has to be on one accord to get something done, right? They have to agree. And if they don't agree, it's not going to happen, right? So that's how they're divided, because if the House doesn't, if the Senate, the Republicans and Democrats can't agree on something, they're not going to pass a bill, right? So they have to have some type of, evenness so they can get something done. But we see the arguing and bickering that goes on in politics, right? They're divided. So let's go back to Daniel. So it says, and in the days, and in the days of the king shall God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. That's the kingdom of Israel. But the Mashiach Yahushua as the king, who the people call Christ. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Meaning, we're not going to get conquered. It ain't going to be like how it was in 70 AD when they came in and just did their thing and we have to get up out of there. It ain't going to be like that. Or it ain't going to be like how once we got to the west coast of Africa or Spain and Portugal and we was chilling in those areas, then they decide to ride down on us, then we have to, it ain't going to be like that, right? It says the kingdom should not be left to other people, meaning the Israelites is going to rule forever, ever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. Like it says in Daniel, right? It's telling you in Daniel that the saints should take the kingdom and they should rule forever, ever, right? So, well, should we? Should be in Daniel. Where it at? Okay, but Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High, talking about the Israelites, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and even forever and forever, ever. So yeah, we're gonna have it forever, ever, right? So then, in the days of these kings shall God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever, right? And that's what's going to happen, when the Mashiach Yahushua comes back, right, and take out the Western power, right? So let's get go back to Revelations. Let's get Revelation. Let's start at the Tizah. Revelation 17 and 1, right? Start there. And it says, and there came one of the seven angels which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sit upon many waters. So remember, we went over who the great whore is, America, and the reason why the feminine personification of America is Colombia, right? And that's what the Statue of Liberty represents, so to speak. And it says, the great whore that sitteth on many waters. And how do America sit on many waters? Because they have I used to say, I used to get around and say like over 160 something military garrisons. No, I just heard something like 600. These people got like 600 military bases all over the world. It's like, what's that? Like 5 times as much as I originally thought, right? They have military bases all over the world. So that's what it means by they sit on many waters, right? They have the military, that's why their military is so strong, right? They're able to, America has the fastest response time when it comes to their military. I think they're able to get anywhere in the world within, 24 hours, I believe, or 48 hours. They can have troops anywhere, right? Ready to go. They have the fastest response time because they have military bases everywhere, like 600. So I think it's 600 some military bases and 160 something or 70 something military garrisons, right? All over them, everywhere, right? That's called imperialism, right? That people don't know, right? Because everybody just think America is just, within these 50 states. America is an empire, right? So then it says, which whom the kings of the earth had. Okay, I want that one here. It says, with whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth had made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And how did the inhabitants get drunk with the wine of? It's not talking about physical wine. It's talking about America's philosophies. Like whatever America say is kosher, everybody does it, right? You know, so everybody follows America and do exactly what America says. So that's what it means by being drunk by, you know, being drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? I'll get this real quick. Alright, get Jeremiah 18 and 6 real quick. It says, O house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter? Said the Lord, behold, as clay is in a potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. At what instance I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to pluck up and to pull down and to destroy it. So what is God saying? He's saying he does whatever he wants with these nations. He said he's like the potter. So if you watch the movie Ghost, you know, with Patrick Swayze, you know, Whoopi Goldberg, all those people, you know, she's shaping and molding the vase, right? Because she's the potter. She can mold it and shape it whatever way she wants. So God does whatever he wants on this earth with these nations of people, right? Because he's in control of everything. Like the first verse we read was God rules in the kingdom of men, right? And it says, in what instance shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to put up or to pull down? So if God want to uproot a kingdom or throw it down, he does it. And to destroy it, if that nation against whom I pronounce and turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil that I thought to do unto them, right? So God judges nations, right? This is what we're reading here. So it's not about, oh, it's some good, you know, such and such, or, you know, some good Edomites, you know. I got some Edomite friends that, you know, that bring me stuff at work, and, you know, they give me eye contact when we talk, you know, they smile at me, you know. I mean, that's the sickness of these people, that these people think the fact that they can, you know, like if you ever get into it with, you know, one of them, you know, they're like, well, you know, at least, you know, I tried to shake your hand, I spoke to you, you know, being nice to you. Like, you doing me a courtesy of talking to me nicely, or trying to treat me like a human being, right? Because the sickness of an Edomite, they think if they treat you like a human being, you know, that's making up for everything else. Because, like, you know, they got to be a good person because they didn't do what the other person did. They didn't call you a bunch of N-words, right? So, this is crazy. So, they judge, I mean, not they, but God judges nations, right? And so, because you got to look at it like this. Jeremiah was under persecution, and he's a righteous man, right? Daniel, the book of Daniel, he was a slave when the book of Daniel was being written. Ezekiel, John, you know, wrote the book of Revelation while he was in solitary confinement, for the lack of better terms. You know, so what I'm saying is, even if righteous people of the Bible have to go through stuff, right? Like, why would we think that the Gentiles just get a free, you know, they don't have to do anything? That's crazy, right? That's not how God works. It's called justice, right? So it says, O house of Israel, can I do with you as a potter, said the Lord? Behold, as clay is in the potter's hand, and ye are mine, O hand, in my hand, O house of Israel. At what instance I will show speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to pluck up or to pull down, to destroy. If that nation against whom I pronounce and turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil which I sought to do unto them. Right? So the point is, God judges nations. It's not about individuals of who's good and who's not, because when God passes judgments, He passes it collectively. Right? So back to Revelation. It says, so she carried away in spirit. So he carried me away in spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 7 horns. Right? And the woman was arrayed with purple and scarlet colors, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations, filthiness of her fornication. Right? So again, America is being spoken of as this woman, right? And America is the revised Roman Empire, because when you look at NATO and the EU, those same nations that comprise of that are the same nations that make up the 10 horns and the 7 crowns, right? I mean the 10, the 10 heads and the 7 crowns, right? So they're same thing. You can pull up an ancient map of the Empire of Rome and pull that up. You can pull up a map of NATO and the EU and put it right next to each other and see the same nations. Only difference is you have America. It's just that the Romans moved their capital from Rome to DC, to America, Washington DC. So it's still that territory, but they're just operating out of America now, right? So it says, so he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and upon her head, her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, right? Because that's what America is. America is like the spearhead of all this wickedness that propagated around the earth. Because people indulge in the culture of America. They indulge in the stuff that America promotes, right? Then it says, and I saw the woman drunken with blood of the saints. So who's so America, drunken with the blood of the saints? Who are the saints? The Israelites, right? Then it says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration, right? Because you're looking like, wow, this nation is ruthless, right? That's how John is looking at it as he's seeing his vision. Like, these people are like very ruthless. They do that. And it says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore did thou marvel? I will tell you I'll tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast that carry her, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. Right? And it says, the beast that thou saw was and was not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, and when they behold the beast that was and was not and yet is. Right? What does that mean? It's talking about the Roman Empire, because during the time of John, the Roman Empire was in full effect. So they were during that time. So that's why it says let me read it again. It says, says, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So what does that mean? So is when it says yet is, meaning they're in full function right now, but of course the Roman Empire failed, right? It failed. Then so that's why it said it was, but then let me read it. Lost on spot. It says they behold the beast that was and is and not and yet is, right? Because the Roman Empire got revised, because they ended up being revised through America and through Britain and through the EU and all that stuff, right? So that's why it says it was and it is and it's not and yet it is, meaning it's here, it's going to leave, and it's going to come back, right? And it came back as America. And it says, and there is and there, read it right, and here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains which the woman sitteth. So again, those 7 mountains are those 7 provinces of Rome, which is Germania, Minor, Germania, Major, Rome, France, Spain, Britannia, and I want to say Portugal. Okay, no, France. Did I say France? Portugal. I think I got all 7 this time. Alright. So yeah, Alright, where are we at? And there, boom. Alright, verse 10. And there was 7 kings and 5 fallen, and 1 is, and 1 is not yet to come. So it says there are 7 kings, 5 fallen, 1 is, that's the current Roman Empire, and the other is not yet come. That's talking about Britain. When England, Britain rose up, right? Then it says, 1 not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space, right? Because yeah, so because Britain had, like, when you look at the rulership of Britain, the Empire of Britain, they had, like, probably the shortest empire run, out of all of them. So that's why it says when continue a short space, right? And so it's in a beast that was and was not, even he is the 8th, right? So now it's the 8th. Because, at first it said it's 7, but now it's the 8th. The 8th is America, right? So then it says, and he is the 8th, and he is of the 7 that go into perdition. So it says he is the 8th, but he came out of the 7th. Because the 7th was Britain, right? Because America splintered off from Britain, right? The British Empire, and became America. So he is of the 7, but he is now the 8th, right? Right? So that's the final empire. And it says, and he is of the 8th, and is of the 7, and go into perdition, meaning they're going to be destroyed, right? This 8th empire, the NATO, the EU, America, right? The horde is going to be destroyed, because that's what the word perdition means. And go into perdition. And the 7 horns which thou sawest, and are the 10 kings which thou have received no kingdom yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So these are like the other nations that's within NATO and the EU. Although they're not like America or Germany or France. What's another powerhouse in NATO? Germany, France, England, all that. They're not, certain countries might not be one of the top 4. There's like 4 of them that, sit on the seat. So, so even though America, they're not, but they, under that umbrella, so it's like they're receiving that same power, they get that same respect, because like what's that? Poland, for example, right? So if Russia decides to walk into Poland one day, NATO is going to fight. They're going to have to go to war because although Poland is not America or Canada or England, but they're under that umbrella, and they are what it says. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings which have received no kingdom yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Meaning, although they're not the head honcho of NATO, but since they're in NATO, you gotta respect them because, like I said, if Russia going to Poland right now, that's World War III. Like if you turn on the news, they say Russia is in Poland. That's World War III. You turn on the news, they say China just went into Taiwan. That's World War III. Like, there ain't no, wondering what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. So certain nations, share the power with America and the other top, nations within NATO, right? So then it says, and these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So, in these countries, upon a time when they formed NATO and the EU, they had one mind. And that was, look, we're going to put all our resources together. America, you're going to be the spearhead. We're going to follow your lead, right? So it says, and they had one mind, and they gave power unto the beast, and these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for the Lord of Lords and King of Kings that are with him, and are called chosen and faithful, right? So it says, and these shall make war with the Lamb, and shall overcome them, for the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and they that are with him are called chosen and faithful, right? And those are the people that's rolling, when you read Second Esdras, right, the 144,000 that's going to be battling with Christ, along with the millions and the millions of angels that's going to come back with Christ, right? Of course I got to say it like that, right? With the millions and the millions. And let's get Isaiah 66. Really quick. Isaiah 66 and 24, right? And it says, and they shall go forth and looking upon the carcass of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be a abhorrent unto all flesh, right? So, like I said, so when Yahweh Shah comes back, he's going to destroy this final kingdom that is ruling, and they're going to be destroyed, and everybody, the whole world is going to see it, how they say the revolution will not be televised, but it will be viral. Everybody's going to see it. It's going to be crazy, right? And let's get Matthew 5 and 17. And it says, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill, right? And that's exactly what he did. He came and fulfilled what was written of him, right? And so, and that was his death and resurrection, his suffering, right? But then there's also prophecies that is written of him that, we're reading where he's coming back and going to conquer these nations, right? And those are the prophecies that we're reading about. When we talk about the destruction of Babylon. And, so there's other things that's written that he has to come back and fulfill. Like the first time he came, he fulfilled the suffering and the death and the resurrection part. He did that. Now he's coming back for the big payback, right? And so yeah, it says so yeah, it says until otherwise no. It says, verily I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass, not one jot nor one tittle, no otherwise pass from the law until all be fulfilled. So all of this has to happen, right? So a lot of people is hearing this stuff, probably, it's unnerving to them, but all of this has to happen. And you have to understand, all of this has happened for the liberation of the black and brown people, for the Israelites, for God's people. So when you see all this stuff happening, yeah, some of our people is going to get caught up in it. But you have to understand, we got a God that fight for us. We got a God that's willing to body like about 3/4 of this whole earth for his people, right? And that's the God we serve. Because that's how angry he is for what the other nations have done to his people, right? And again, like, we was talking about how, the creator of Dragon Ball is very in tune into his creation to the point where he gets emotional about when, every time Piccolo dies on in the series, right? Then he brings him back, So, like I said, God is very emotional about his people, right? He loves his people. You can read this book and you see that God expresses love for the children of Israel, right? And where we at? Where to go? And it says, it says, and he that said unto me, the waters which thou were where the horse set up our people and the multitudes and nations and tongues. See, then it gives you the breakdown. So it says, read it again. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are people and multitudes and nations of tongues. So, like I said, there's many waters, because like we were explaining that America has military bases all over the world where they basically have the fastest military response time, right? And so then, and it says, and it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, meaning they're going to turn on America. They're going to hate America eventually. And as we are watching the news, we're seeing American allies slowly turning on America, for their disdain for Donald Trump, right? Then it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and thou shalt make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's those nuclear hypersonic missiles that Russia got over there. That's those super high hang glider sonic gliders that China got over there, right? That's those little dirty bombs that Iran is mixing up over there, right? So it says, and burn her with fire. And God have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give her and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So God said he put it in their hearts to form this NATO, to form this EU, right? And he also going to put it in their hearts to destroy America, aka Babylon, right? And it says, and the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigned over the kings of the earth, right? And that is America. America. So get Ezekiel 47 real quick. Let's see what this says. Probably wrap this up in a minute. And 47 and 8. Okay, this Ezekiel 47 and 8. It says, and then he said unto me, these waters issue out towards the east country and go down into the desert and go into the sea, which being brought forth unto the sea, the water shall be healed, right? So this is talking about the nations being healed. So after all this whole everything, get all, settled, Christ come back, the Israelites are back in the land that they're supposed to be. The government is Yahweh's government is set up, Christ is king, the Israelites is ministering. There's gonna be peace on earth, right? And then it says the water should heal the nations, right? Hold on, I close that up. Let me go back to it. What was it? Ezekiel. Let me read one. So it says, and he said unto me, the waters issue out towards the east country and go down unto the desert and go into the sea, which being brought forth unto the sea, the water shall be healed, right? And so, like I said, it's talking about, because the east country, is Israel, right? And the waters is the wisdom, the knowledge, the information, the understanding, and that's what's going to heal the nations. Because once all that stuff is set up, all the nations are going to come to the Israelites and learn from us, right? And that's how they're going to be healed. So after World War III and death and destruction is everywhere, and you got walking around like, what's that movie, the Book of Eli and all that stuff. So that's how they're going to be living, right? But the Israelites, we're going to be living like how how God said we're supposed to. So they're going to be in that Book of Eli state of being, right? Then they're going to want to come to what we're got going on, right? To learn, and that's how they're going to be healed, right? And then that's going to bring peace on earth, like we read earlier in Isaiah chapter 2, right? And it says, and it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, whatsoever the rivers shall come, shall live, and there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come hither, for they shall be healed, and everything shall live, rather the river cometh, right? So we're gonna be spreading the gospel. We're gonna be spreading the real true gospel to the people, right? We're gonna be getting everybody in tune. So that's how they're gonna live, because that's the waters. The water, what does it say? The waters of living life, right? So then it says, and it shall come to pass. Then it says, boom, boom, boom. And it shall come to pass that the fishes shall stand upon from NGD and even unto Elbalam, and shall be placed to spread forth nets, and the fish shall be according to their kind, and all the fish shall be great, and the sea exceedingly many, right? So this is not talking about literal fish, like for, like fishermen just gonna be going down and they're just gonna be getting like boatloads of fish. No, this is talking about people are gonna be, because we already read how people are gonna be separated, put in their own nations, So then they're going to be finally taught the real truth of God, not no stuff about whatever these people believe it today, right? They're going to finally taught the real truth. Then it says, and their fish shall be according to their kind, and their fish shall be great and exceeding many. But the marine places thereof, the marsh thereof, shall not be held, they shall be given to salt, right? So who is this talking about, right? So now, well, I know we're talking about Edomites, aka Caucasians, right? But then this last part right here is talking about another group of people that's going to be cut off from the Most High, right? So not only are the Edomites is going to be destroyed and taken off this, great blue thing, but then you have a nation of people known as the Canaanites, right? The Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? The Canaanites are a African nation of people, right? Some would teach that, some of them are, Central Africa or South Africa. You got some on the west coast of Africa, right? So Canaanites, right? So not all Africans are Canaanites. I mean, they're all Hamites, but they're not all Canaanites. Cause just like you have different tribes. You got 12 tribes of Israel. You have different nations of people, biblically speaking. So now these Canaanites are a specific group of people, specific group of Africans, right? That's what this is referring to. So it says, but the Murray places thereof, the marshes thereof shall not be held, and they shall be given salt. And by the river upon the bank thereof of this side, and the side shall grow trees for meat, for whose leaves shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed, and it shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters shall issue out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf for medicine, right? So we're going to be healing the nation with this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and the nation's going to be great, and everybody will live in peace and harmony in that great day, right? Except for the Canaanites and the Edomites, because the Edomites is going to be out of here, right? And the Canaanites is just not going to even get the benefit of even learning about the Most High God, Yahweh. And you'll say, why? Why is God going to do that to those little poor African people, right? And again, it's not all of them. It's just a specific group of people, which is called Canaanites. And because if we go back to the Garden of Eden, right? And when it says the serpent was wiser than subtle than any other beast, right? See, that's another misconception. People think it was an actual talking snake in the garden, and when they say beast, they guess they just thinking that it's just actual this beast, animals just roaming around, and the serpent, the snake, just happened to be the only one that can talk. No, the Bible, again, you got a Hebraic thought, and in metaphoric or slang, how we say, you got to understand how Hebraic slang goes. So beast is talking about people. God often refers to us as beasts, trees, grass, stars, water, and I'm probably missing something else, but so when you get into the slang of the Israelites, how they speak, you will know that it's not actually talking about actual beasts like animals or a talking snake. It's just like how we say today, if somebody's a sneaky, conniving person, we will call them a snake, right? So this person in the garden was a sneaky, conniving person, so they were called a serpent, right? So the Canaanites, spiritually, the Canaanites as a people, spiritually, goes back to that nation of people that the serpent represented in the garden. So that's why they're cut off from the Most High forever, because that's their punishment, to be cut off from the Most High forever, because of what they did in the garden, right? So although the flood came and that world died, but the spirits, because we talk about regeneration. We did a lesson on it about a few videos ago about regeneration, how the spirit doesn't die. It just gets regenerated. So those spirits of that ancient world is back again in these nations of people today, right? So the spirit of Canaan is an ancient spirit that goes way back to the garden during the time of Adam and Eve and the serpent, right? So that's why they're going to be cut off from the knowledge of the Most High forever. They're not even going to have the opportunity to even learn about God. They're going to be living on the outskirts of the world and doing whatever Canaanites do. So, with that being said, and I didn't mean to go this long, because almost like a little freestyle thing. I was just, didn't really have too much of a lesson plan, but seeing there was so much going on, thought I had to say something. But yeah, hopefully that was edifying. We understand that the trajectory of America and how this war thing is going is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's going to get crazy. And we just got to stay prayed up, keep the faith, keep the commandments, and all that cool stuff. And wait, hope we get up out of there, right? So I'm going to say shalom, peace. Hopefully that's edifying. Hopefully, we understand a little better of these biblical prophecies and where we at in the timeline of what's going on the prophecies. And maybe too, even though I did a video about the 7 seals and the 7 vials and stuff, but we might talk about where we at in that timeline of the 7 seals, and which, be like the 5th seal on our way going into the 6th seal, because the way things are going, we like almost at the 6th seal, really. So we went to the statue of Daniel, showing you how we're living in the time of the 10 toes, right? We went to Lamentation, showing you that the final captivity of the Israelites will be under the Edomites, right? And then Christ is going to come back. So then, if we're under the understanding that the Black, Hispanic, and Native American people are the Israelites, then we were in captivity under the Edomites. And then, for those that would say that the Edomites are the Arabs, then that's a big problem, because then that means us Israelites, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American people, we have another 400 and something years slavery to look forward to. If these people, the Edomites, is not who we say they are, then we have a whole other slavery to look forward to. And I ain't with all that, right? I don't think none of us is with all that. So, the Bible says our last captivity will be under them before our redemption comes. We got into Daniel about how NATO and the EU, the beast system is being splintered and split. We can look at the current situation in the news, how Trump is at it with everybody that America's supposed to be cool with. But yeah, we see it happening. So, until next time, I'm going to say shalom, peace, and all right. Hopefully that was edifying. We out.